Welcome to the Death Diaries, where I'm documenting the end of my life in a sense. Thankfully, I don't have a terminal illness. Rather, I'm going through the spiritual awakening process. And over the last 6 years, the sense of a separate self has been eroding, and it has felt very complete in lots of ways for quite some time. It's really been very little capacity to believably find a self, and yet reactivity, pushing and pulling on life, has continued. And I realized that my identity, what's left of my identity, has been playing a very insidious, smart game. It kind of makes me respect it. Like, just respect the incredible thing that is this ego structure, and just how brilliantly it can hide and lurk and continue to propagate itself in blind spots. Anyway, yesterday I was rummaging around in some places in my psyche, and it kind of started to dawn on me that some kind of game playing was going on around the continued reactivity I have, whether that be to my children, to my husband, to life, to traffic. Let's use traffic just because it's a nice, clean example. I'd be in traffic and there would be some reaction, and there would be a knowing as there was a kind of come on type reaction. There would be a knowing that there's no one behind that reaction. And the sneaky trick that the identity was playing was, you don't need to look into that because you're not even really suffering much over that. Is that even suffering? And so yeah, like, you know that there's no self in that, so it doesn't matter. It's all good, and you're just being human. Who knows? Anyway, that's been kind of going on, and it feels so much lighter without a real firm belief in a self, that it was quite a compelling argument. And then lots of things have coalesced into me rummaging around a little more here. And what I realized is that underneath that, there's actually a deeper, there was a deeper belief. And that was, I don't want to die completely. I don't want to die completely, meaning I don't want to awaken completely. And when I realized that, I was like, wow, that is so incredible how that has been so brilliantly kept out of my conscious awareness. And so much of the reactivity relies upon that. And in fact, the identity has been relying on the reactivity and the continuation of that to actually continue to give itself at least some foothold in the psyche. If it can drive my behavior, can use my voice, can cause me to consume certain food, can cause all sorts of reactions, then it still exists and it's still somehow believable, if only to itself perhaps. And it's cool because I notice that I'm not making a new enemy here. I'm not aware of yet another kind of backdoor way in which the ego is entering right now as I'm seeing this. Feels pretty relaxed. And yet I then put that thought up against Byron Katie's 4 questions, which has been a tool that I've used throughout this awakening process, both when I was deeply caught up in the self and then afterwards, after the awakening back in 2019. And so I just put the question there. I don't want to die completely. Is that true? And really examined what happens when I believe that that is true. But you know, the immediate response when I asked that question, I don't want to die completely, is that true? My immediate response was that no, it's not true. That actually, there is nothing more important to me, nothing in this life, than to die completely, to die before I die. Nothing. And that there was a singularity in that moment that was so breathtakingly beautiful. There was a little blip of fear, but really very brief, and just this absolute awe, really, at it's so hard to talk about this without inferring identity, but just awe. Perhaps we could say that life, would get to potentially experience myself, meaning the entire universe, the entire world, in a body mind that has completely vacated, that has completely let go of the pretension, the illusion. In this moment, I feel such appreciation for this Matthew character and his willingness to realize his non-existence and to keep allowing himself to be eroded into non-existence, really. Yeah. It's funny because I'm just making this video whilst waiting for my next clients to come, a new couple who are coming to me for marriage counseling, first session, and boom, there I'll be, right back in the Matthew character with two people who most likely fully believe they are their character. And it just feels so precious, all of it. It feels so magical, even though there's pain. What a delight, what an incredible experience this really is, to be human, to be nothing of the sort. Yeah, and just how ingenious this ego identity structure is. Just have to have so much respect for it. It's just an incredible work of art, really. Yeah. So I think I'll leave it there. Until next time, friends.